So we open up the Real Housewives of Potomac. We open up with a scene of Karen being released from jail. She had to spend 1 year in jail. Then they go to Giselle's house where she invites all the ladies over. Ashley shows up first, her and her bunions. Okay, her and Ashley, Giselle and Ashley, decides to talk about Karen and how Karen's in jail, and they hope that she's in a place where she can go to the elderly part of the jail. Who said it? April said it, not the AARP of jails. Girl, these ladies is delusional, okay? So we found out that Stacey got exposed at the reunion last year and said she paid TJ to be her love interest. Okay, she was denying it, of course. Then we got Wendy, and I'm going to call her Kay because everybody called her Kay because I can't remember her full name. They show up. Giselle said she invited the ladies over to get the ladies together, but since Karen's in jail and she feels like they need to be together. Stacey becomes the topic of conversation about her lying on stage about TJ. You know, she's on the chopping block after, you know, all of they talk about Karen, how they feel about Karen, and they said about Karen, but they zoom in on Stacey, okay? And of course, Stacey is denying that she paid this man to be her love interest. Then we find out from Giselle that her and Ashley was at some event and an actress came over to them that knows TJ and knows for a fact that TJ is suing Stacey for his half of the money from her Real House of Potomac check. 50% of it. Girl, you stupid, first of all, for giving up 50% of it if you did do it, allegedly, okay? You'll get him 50%. Okay, that's how you had the bargain? Okay, but anyway, only for this scene to end and to see Stacey sitting down on a date with her quote-unquote ex-husband. Okay. Stacey is trying to stay on the show. Do you hear me? So we found out that Kay, you know, pretty much broke up with her husband, her fiance, and moved out the house because they was getting into it. And once she moved out, her man realizes that, let me try to work on it. He invites her to Jamaica, and now they're just dating. Okay. Like, what's going to change? Because apparently she wanted to get married. He didn't want to get married, you know. Well, you shouldn't have moved in. But anyway, we'll see what happens with Kay and her man, okay? I can't think of his name right now. So he's her man right now. So we got Stacey and Ashley. They meet at some dress shop for Ashley's second Bloom event. And everybody's still asking, well, what was the first one? They would miss it. But anyway, she put Stacey on the spot about meeting with this actress, you know, blurted out the lady's name on national TV, okay? And Stacey is still denying it. She's not admitting to it, nor is she denying it, okay? She just wants it to be left alone. But nope, in typical Ashley form, Ashley is determined to make sure that everybody know that Stacey is lying. 1, about paying TJ, and 2, about being divorced, because they got into it about her actually being divorced. And Stacey found out that Ashley was Googling to find out if she's divorced because there's no records on file. Okay, so then we got Giselle traipsing around her house because she's an empty nester now, whatever. That was the fakest scene ever. So she calls Ashley, and of course Ashley fills her in on, you know, her and Stacey, you know, getting into it at the dress shop, which was a nice dress shop, by the way. And she don't know if Stacey's going to show up to her second Bloom party, whatever. Excuse me. We got Kay. She meets with her friend Angela. She's one of the new ladies. She's married to a retired football player, and they run a business called Wonderland. And I think it's really cool. They give you outdoor experiences like horseback riding, walking trails, meditation, Zen, all that stuff. I think that's pretty doggone cool. I'm gonna have to look into that. Take a trip, and do one of their excursions or whatever. Anyway, Kay, you know, she lets her know about the ladies at the request of Angela. Or is it Angel? Forgive me, I'll get it right even throughout the reviews, okay? But Wendy comes up in the conversation for Kay because Kay feels like Wendy is not being a good friend to her. She feels like, you know, they have this vibe when they talking on the phone, but when they get in front of each other or at events, you know, Wendy is acting. Kay, on the other hand, Kay, you know, she gives experiences of how, you know, she was at an event, and when she got there, she thought Wendy was going to speak, and Wendy didn't speak. So she feels like, in my opinion, she feels like, you know, Wendy is giving her that nice, nasty thing. Like, we cool to be on the phone cackling and gossiping, but in person, it's like, I ain't good enough to be a friend. I don't know if Kay is reading too much into it, because later on we found out that Wendy was a guest speaker, and she ain't really acknowledged Kay. I don't know. I don't know if Kay is reading too much into it, but we'll find out, I guess, throughout the season. So we had Ashley's second Bloom for her divorce. Because her divorce is fine. Giselle brings Tia. She's a high-end realtor from London who is part of a royal family in Nigeria. And, you know, my first thought was like, is that going to be a problem for Wendy? Because remember when Aneka was there? But anyway. But Tia don't give me that. She doesn't give me that. But we'll find out throughout the season. Stacey shows up despite her and Ashley's kerfuffle. Okay. Wendy, with her dress full of tulle. Okay. That dress was a lot. It was kind of cute, but it was a lot. Okay. I'm surprised she was even able to sit down. You see, she had to throw it over the doggone chair. It was a lot. So Ashley has her entrance, and they called her a Duchess, and everybody was like, did they say Duchess? And Angel was like, oh, from bottle girl to Duchess? Okay. The shade, okay. Ashley give this speech, and I just was like, girl, bye. Girl, bye. Okay. That speech was so ungeneric. Anyway, generic, whatever. So Kay comes over while Wendy and Giselle is sitting there and they're talking, right? And Kay says, that's rude. And I'm just thinking, like, well, Giselle didn't speak to you either. And they were talking. Can you let them finish their conversation? And then, now, I ain't see a problem with that. Because when I walk up to people and I know that they're talking, I'm going to let them finish their conversation. And then I'm like, oh, hey, girl, how you doing? Hey, girl, how you doing? That's how it go. But it seems like Kay was on a mission, okay? Like, she going to be fighting Wendy next. But anyway, Kay addresses Wendy. Kay feels like their energy on the phone is, different when they see each other in person. And I feel like, right now, I feel like Kay is, she's taking it too far, just making a lot of assumptions on how Wendy is feeling. Because Wendy cleared it up. She was like, so when I was on the phone with you, talking to you, and you said you were a sponsor, I was like, hey, good for you. You're a sponsor. She cheered her on. But Kay was like, but you ain't telling me you was a speaker. She said, but I didn't feel like that was my moment to say that I was a speaker because you was telling me you was a sponsor. And I kind of understood that. Right? So anyway, child, there was Stacey, Ashley, Angel, and Giselle. Baby, why they told Stacey her breath stink? Well, they said her breath is hot. Okay? And she starts blowing her breath in Ashley's face. Like, that is just disrespectful. Okay? I think it's real bold of people to tell her on national TV that her breath stank instead of pulling her to the side. That just, what that tells you? They don't like her. Okay? So Stacey decides to pull Ashley to the side because she feels like when she talked to Ashley with Giselle, they tag team her, right? So Ashley and Stacey go to the front of the venue or whatever, which was a nice venue, by the way. Ashley did. It was nice. It was nice. They get to talking. Ashley lets her know she's a liar and how she's not divorced. They get a little loud, and Stacey was like, get your finger out of my face. And the whole point was to say that Ashley is a liar. She's not owning, not Ashley, that Stacey is a liar and she's not owning up to anything. So this guy comes out. He was like, y'all are a little loud. Like, what would it take for y'all to end this right now? Do you want to see her divorce papers? And Ashley was like, yeah. And in my head, I was just like, she don't owe you that. Whether she's divorced or not, she don't owe you that. And I'm just like, you spoiling your party to prove that Stacey's not divorced. What? And you having a whole party because your divorce is finalized. Like, make that make sense. A party where you spend all your money to entertain your friends because you're divorced, but you want to argue with Stacey about her not being divorced. It's just the weirdest thing ever. But y'all know how Ashley do. Y'all know how Ashley do, okay? At the end of that argument, I was like, and scene, okay? Because it was just a bit too much. It was just a bit too much. But anyway, guys, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Come down in the comment section. Let's have a conversation about this episode. I just feel like Ashley was doing too much. Like, when you got these reality stars and they always focused on somebody else's story, that means they ain't got a storyline. And Ashley's been doing that for a long time on this show, outside of, when she was in her relationship with her old man. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.